Welcome to the first official episode of The Raid. I'm your host, Logan, and I'm here with Jay.
Ski.
And I'm here with Alex.
How we doing?
We got a fun show today. It's a very exciting start to this. So first segment, we got NFL Rundown. It was a busy weekend in the NFL. I think the elephant in the room that we got to talk about, the Miami Dolphins, 70 points. What was that?
I was baffled by that, honestly, because I went back and looked at the stats, and I was like, they had the same amount of total drives. Miami only had 12 more total plays, and I was trying to look at the yards and see what the difference was. Miami had 350 rushing yards to 69 for the Broncos. That's not what you want.
No, not ideal at all.
Yeah, it's like one of those games on Madden you play with your little brother, and then you give him some pity points, and then you start to sit up and get those 70 points in that Madden game. He starts crying and stuff like that, and you start recording him and laughing. It was one of those type of games.
No, that's literally how I felt. Like Sean Payton in that post-game interview, they were talking about like, oh yeah, this was embarrassing. He's like, you don't think I know that? He's like, you don't think I've realized that? I thought that was crazy. I mean,
and one of the Broncos' touchdowns was a special team touchdown.
Oh my gosh.
How poorly can an offense do besides that game? That was terrible.
Is the Broncos country let's ride Russell Wilson? Like, is that over? Is the experiment over?
I think it has to be at this point. Like, he has shown no redeeming qualities since he's left Seattle, honestly. So I don't think there's a reason to keep him at this point.
They gave up so much to get him, and they also gave up another first-round pick to get Sean Payton.
That's true, yeah.
And then they're 0-3. I mean, this is not ideal.
And this is after last week when they gave up a 21-3 lead to Washington. So it is not what you want.
Yeah, giving up a lead to the Commanders is kind of crazy.
It's bad.
But on the other side of the coin, the Dolphins, are they contenders in the AFC? I mean, like,
I don't see how you say they're not after this. Yeah,
that was a really, really good showing that they gave us. I mean, they're gonna have to show something against Buffalo, but
I would have said that they've been contenders after they got Tyreek Hill. They've been contenders. They just how the schedule is and whatnot. Like sometimes they'll get pretty hard games. In the past couple of seasons, it was Tyreek Hill first season in Miami, so they was kind of still like adjusting and stuff like that. Right. So now that I feel like they adjusted and they actually got a good game plan for the season, that they could really go all the way. A lot of ESPN personalities got Miami in the Super Bowl this year, so I'm pretty sure everybody will love to see that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think a Miami Dolphins offense in the Super Bowl would be must-see TV. I don't know about you, but the way that offense is performing, they would get some TV revenue from that.
The AFC East is going to be very fun to watch this year. Imagine how mad Buffalo is after this past week when they won by 34 and that was still not the biggest blowout of the weekend.
Oh yeah, no,
and they have to play that team to win the conference or the division actually, and that's going to be tough.
Speaking of things that were tough, Monday Night Football, the Bengals grinded out a 3-point win. Joe Burrow, he didn't look fantastic. For some reason, he threw 49 passes on an injured calf. I'm not too sure where that idea came from because Joe Mixon was cooking. I don't think that there was any reason to not keep feeding him, but I'm happy we got a win. I'm happy the Bengals came away with a win, but it wasn't pretty.
It was an ugly win. Like 3-point win over the Rams. The Rams, like, come on now. Like, the Rams are not who they were a couple seasons ago in the Super Bowl and whatnot, even though they literally sold their souls to build a super team to win the Super Bowl. Like, yeah, of course, like it is what it is. But, a 3-point lead over the Rams is not pretty. They got to fix things up.
And to your point, Logan, like, in a defensive matchup like that, you have to run the ball.
Yeah.
Because the passing was just not working out. The line was not holding up for Burrow. He was pressured pretty much all night. Aaron Donald coming down the pipe when you're already a hobbled quarterback, that's not something you want when you're looking towards the future.
No, not in the slightest. And there was talk about getting him shut down for potentially this game and more, and then he went out there and played with about 9 pounds of tape on his leg. It gets to a point where it's like, should he have even played that game? My gut was leaning towards no. Yeah. I really don't think. I think that game could have been won with Jake Browning at quarterback.
For sure.
Yeah, I agree.
And the Rams honestly did not run the ball enough either. They could have won if they stuck with the run game because the Bengals were at that point allowing 192 yards a game on the ground. So the Rams could have definitely took advantage of that a lot more.
Yeah, and looking at the way that game was played, I mean, it was just sloppy on both sides for the longest time. There was no really consistent offensive drives. It was field goal ball early on. I am pleasantly surprised with how Logan Wilson stepped up, grabbing 2 picks. In my opinion, he's one of the best ball hawking linebackers in the league.
He was so mad about that Super Bowl.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that holding call in the Super Bowl. He was thinking about it the whole time.
Yeah.
And taking 2 balls away from Stafford, who Stafford has become very interception prone,
That's
especially
true.
this season.
Stafford is garbage. He's been garbage.
I was about to say he was interception prone in Detroit. We just didn't notice because it was when Detroit was bad and nobody really cared.
Exactly.
I don't know. He would keep saying, "Oh, Matthew Stafford was really him." No, he was never good, man.
He's always had decent receivers around him. I mean, Calvin Johnson for the start of his career obviously was something you can't pass up and something that really helped elevate his career.
Yeah, all right. Well, there's big NBA news we have to talk about, and we're going to have that for you right after the break.